Season 1, Chapter 10, Season Finale. Abraham Lincoln, The Great Test. For nearly a century, the United States had spoken of liberty, of equality, of constitutional government, of a republic built upon the consent of the governed. But history has a way of asking difficult questions, and eventually, every great idea must face its greatest test. In 1861, the American Republic stood on the edge of collapse. The nation was divided. Families were divided. Communities were divided. Everything the Founding Fathers had struggled to build seemed ready to disappear. Many believed the experiment in self-government had failed. Into that moment stepped Abraham Lincoln. He wasn't asked to build a nation. Others had already done that. He was asked to preserve one. Lincoln understood that the Civil War was about more than territory. It was about whether a government founded on liberty and self-government could survive its greatest crisis. After the Battle of Gettysburg, one of the bloodiest battles in American history, Lincoln stood before a crowd and spoke for only a few minutes. Yet those words have echoed for generations. He said that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, and for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Those words were not merely about winning a war. They were about preserving an idea. Montesquieu warned against concentrated power. John Locke defended natural rights. Thomas Jefferson declared those rights. James Madison designed a constitution to protect them. Benjamin Franklin reminded citizens that a republic must be kept. George Washington showed that true leadership means knowing when to surrender power. John Adams insisted on a government of laws, not of men. Alexander Hamilton built institutions strong enough to support a new nation. Alexis de Tocqueville discovered that democracy depends on active citizens. Lincoln inherited every one of those ideas, and history asked him a single question: could they survive? Abraham Lincoln reminds us that liberty is never guaranteed. It is never handed from one generation to the next without sacrifice. Every generation inherits the work of those who came before, but every generation must also decide whether it is willing to preserve what it has inherited. Freedom is more than a word written on parchment. It is more than speeches remembered by history. It lives in the principles that people choose to uphold, the laws they respect, the institutions they strengthen, and the responsibilities they willingly accept. History teaches us that republics are not lost in a single day. They are strengthened, or weakened, by countless decisions made over many years. Lincoln understood that preserving a nation required more than military victory. It required preserving the ideals upon which that nation had been founded. He believed that a government founded on liberty, equality, and self-government could endure only if its people remained committed to those principles. That lesson reaches far beyond the Civil War. It reaches every generation that inherits the blessings and the responsibilities of freedom. The story of liberty is never truly finished. Each generation becomes a new chapter. Each generation is entrusted with carrying the story forward. And each generation leaves its own legacy for those who follow. Perhaps that is history's greatest lesson. We do not study the past simply to admire those who came before us. We study it to understand the ideas they struggled to preserve, the choices they were forced to make, and the responsibilities that now belong to us. Because history doesn't simply belong behind us, it walks beside us, guiding us, teaching us, and reminding us that the future is shaped by the decisions we make today. History doesn't just tell us where we've been, it helps us understand where we're going. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the ideas and individuals who helped shape the American Republic. If you've enjoyed Season 1 of Eternal Insights, please like, subscribe, and join us for the next chapter. Until next time, keep learning from the past to build a better future. Stay tuned for Season 2, Before There Was America, coming soon.